Okay, MB Moose Lover here with another video, and this is a little tiny bird nest that we discovered in a pine tree that's right along the edge of our driveway, and it wasn't very high up, only about 10 feet, and it wasn't much of a nest, just a few little dried sticks, grass or whatever, and so a few days later it was a little heavier. They added some more grass to it. Still not a very sturdy nest, and pretty tiny. And then we basically discovered a bird in it. All we could see was its tail. It was like a little skinny forked tail sticking out. And we, weren't sure what kind of a bird it was. Hadn't seen it yet, and so this is the nest a few days later. It's a little bit more rugged. It's not much, just not much to it. I guess that's kind of a trait for these birds. And it was about 10 feet off the ground, which is typical of them as well. And so I'm going to zoom in on it here, and you can see the bird in it. And there's a little forked tail. And I tried to, what I did here was I got my tall step ladder and basically got up on it, and wife held it while the video camera, and I did get a video here of the head of the bird, and it was a little difficult. The needles, I couldn't get any higher, and those needles on top of her anyway, so it's about the best I could do. But just judging by the beak and the colors, and did a little research, and actually guess we were thinking it was a vireo is what I thought, and actually it was wrong. So when I filmed it in the nest here this day, it was a couple of days later I actually saw a bird in the tree and filmed it, and then it went over to another tree and was sitting there preening itself. And I thought, well, that can't be the bird, because I was kind of going by what I thought it looked like in the nest. And this was the video that day that I filmed. And I thought, well, that really can't be it. It looks like a little sparrow, and it's got a brown head. Well, in the nest, it didn't look like it had a brown head. So I'm kind of going on that theory. And so I filmed this little guy here. And it turns out it actually is the bird that's in the nest, which kind of makes sense, because there it is. I thought it was just a coincidence, but anyway, and then I got it preening itself over here on this other little tree we've got, and of course since then, when I went back and researched the bird again, I found out it's a chipping sparrow, not a vireo, which we were thinking, and so and of course I filmed this the other day before I actually knew that this was actually the bird. So this morning, we're coming up here this morning. When I went out, I checked the nest to see if the bird was in it, and you'll see here its tail sticking out, and there it is. That was this morning, and just making sure she's okay. And then I went for a little walk in the woods, came back, and she wasn't in the nest. So I thought, well, I'm just going to sit down here for a few minutes and see if she showed up. And sure enough, this is when she showed up. And I figured, I still wasn't 100% sure, because, like I said, I didn't really see a brown head in the nest. But, of course, she's going to drop down here on these lower limbs, and then eventually get down to where the nest is and then get in it. So I knew it was her. So it is a chipping sparrow. And just a few facts on this little bird. She'll lay anywhere from 2 to 7 eggs, and she could have 3 broods actually. And here she comes. Here she's going to drop down onto the limb that the nest is on. And the eggs will be like 0.6 long and 0.4 wide, which is about the size of my small fingernail. Pretty tiny eggs, 10 to 15 days for it to incubate them, and 9 and 12 for the birds to basically grow. So yeah, it's we'll see. Hopefully, maybe I can get some little baby birds filmed here. You never know. She I couldn't really see when she actually got in the nest because it's pine needles are so thick. But she got in there because here I'm going to go underneath the nest at the very end, and she's definitely in there. So that's what she is. She's a chipping sparrow, and apparently the males don't help build the nest. They're kind of lazy. I don't know if they actually help with anything else or not, sitting on the eggs or burning their food, but okay, MB Moose Lover here, and there's another segment of our pair of chipping sparrows that built a nest in our driveway pine tree, really low, only about maybe 10 feet off the ground on the bottom limb. So I had earlier filmed 4 little eggs in the nest, and then we kind of left the nest alone. Tried not to park truck too close to where the nest was, and now here they are. She's passing her mate some food, and the last few days they've been feeding them here quite a bit, and we never saw them. I mean, too much activity in the nest. I mean, they we would see them around, and then we were away for a few days. We didn't really see them feeding them that much until just recently, and she's got some food there in her beak, and so last evening I got out and I filmed a little bit. They were both carrying food, and the one of them got up and actually near the nest there and fed the little ones, and you can kind of see them. You can see them peeking, kind of lifting themselves up the nest to meet her. And right here, she's sitting right here, and the nest is right behind her. You can see them up there, and behind her, they're kind of. She had just fed them there, and I didn't catch it on film. And but I will here after a bit. I got her when she actually got up near the nest. And then this morning, I went out with a step ladder, and my wife held it there. I get up with the video camera and filmed inside the nest. They're just quick, and there is 4 chicks in it, and they're almost full feathered. And a little hard to film around the pine needles. I didn't want to disrupt the nest too much. It's a pretty fragile little nest, and they're crammed in there. But it's nice to know that they've got this far. I mean, they should be flying pretty soon. And there she's, one of them down there getting a beak full. There's something, I don't know what it is. And there she See, she's going to maneuver herself here so she can get down to where the nest is. And lots of birds around. I've got a pair of flycatchers in my storage shed under the eave that every year there's a bunch that nest there. And I filmed them. I just uploaded a video of them sitting on a little metal post thing that we have in the backyard. They basically sit there and catch insects, and kind of interesting video. It's fun to watch them. She's taking her time here. She's pretty cautious about how she approaches. I don't know, maybe she's trying to not let on where the nest is so the predator don't follow her or something. She's taking a roundabout route. There she goes. She's getting close to it here. Here she comes here. Right here you can see you'll watch the little ones, they all rise up right there out of the nest, glomming for the food. I don't imagine there was enough to go around all of them. I have to wait till the next turn, some of them. I imagine they're pretty well fed. Both of these parents here, they seem to be just hauling food all the time. So, and here this morning I got up on the ladder and filmed them. I was trying not to be too rough on the nest. Needles in the road a little bit, and I was kind of holding the camera and watching the screen because it's kind of above me. I couldn't actually see in myself. But you can see that there's 3 beaks. You see the yellow, and that's the edge of a beak, and then there's another. In the bottom left there's a little yellow, and then the middle is yellow, and then up above there's a yellow. And then and the 4th bird is facing the other way, and you can see its head right there on the right. So there's four little birds in there. There was 4 eggs. So you can see the little beaks of them. They're all crammed right in there. But they're pretty well getting pretty feathered. I see wing feathers on the one on the right there. I would imagine they'll be flying pretty soon. So I guess we've come to the end of our video, so later.